traditional penetration testing. So by way of agenda, we're going to give you a deep dive into what it is, and then also how does that fit within your overall assurance program, because this is certainly not a replacement for the existing more traditional penetration testing, but it is something that will make a lot of sense for a lot of organizations once we take you through the details. So lucky enough to have Mel join us. So Mel is our managing consultant for our offensive team. And at this point, I would normally give a full background bio and introduce you to Mel, but given she works in the offensive team, they like to keep their background pretty under wraps. So I'm not sure you'll find too much on Mel online, but say hi, Mel.
Hi, everyone.
So let's get into it. Before we do, I think it's kind of worthwhile looking at what the problem is we're trying to solve. And as with everything at the moment, it really is around trying to prevent breaches, trying to prevent cyber attacks. And I think in terms of the last couple of years, we've just seen an absolutely exponential growth, certainly in ransomware, right? I was looking at an article just last week from Interpol, actually. It was from last year, but they were talking about ransomware really emerging as what they say the Wild West equivalent of the digital space, right? And you look at some of the numbers that are being trotted out, it's just crazy, right? So 2020, the whole year was estimated around 460 mil of payments, and those are the ones they will. And so it can have that false sense of security, but in reality, attackers are bypassing them. So we need to be able to test that. We need to be able to show you how these tools are bypassed so that your SOC can have better visibility and be able to warn you when that's happening, because it is happening. And then obviously when we talk about user access in these zero trust environments, it's much more heavily restricted. Sessions are validated. So what an attacker can do when they have compromised a credential, for example, is different. So the testing methodologies that we need to they've evolved their techniques, and that's why they're having so much kind of success. So let's dig into it. We've got a couple of slides here. What we're talking about, what we're recommending to each of you is that traditional penetration testing still has a critical place, and we'll talk about where that place fits within your assurance program. We think there's a great opportunity this year, 2022, to start to introduce objective-based testing. And hopefully by the end of this, you'll know what it is and how that's going to add value. It's a nice introduction if you're maybe not ready for a full-scale red team. Maybe you don't have the budget for a red team exercise. But we feel that red teaming is another key piece of the puzzle. And these three sort of components really do work hand in hand. They're not replacements for each other. And hopefully you get a feel for that through the end of this. So Mel, why don't you kind of take us through the key differences between these types of testing methodologies?
Yeah, definitely. Sounds good. So we'll start with the traditional penetration testing methodology, and we're just talking about goals right now. So with the traditional approach, we're looking at your whole environment, obviously. We're trying to identify vulnerabilities. We're still trying to exploit them. But the main difference is we've got a specific goal in mind. So usually that goal will be something that's important to your organization. So let's say your customer database, that would be really bad if that got compromised, if that data got leaked. So we're still doing a penetration test, but at the end,